Hi, I'm Robin Bensley. Welcome to Chow Time. Maybe I'm mad, but the mere mention of meatballs makes my mind meander with memories of magical moments. A mutation of meatloaf, a midget of meats, these miniature mounds might not be majestic, but my main mission in my monologue is to muster a memorial to the master of munchies. Make no mistake, meatballs are main magnets at merry affairs, with most of the masses munching multiples of these marvelous marbles while mingling. Meatball maniacs like me might manage to muster a meatball museum, or maybe a mammoth monument with a meatball motif, mentioning the motto, meatballs on every menu. But I muse that most likely more than a minimal amount of money might be mandatory. Maybe millions. Moreover, worth mentioning, they melt in your mouth, don't make a mess, mix marvelously with macaroni, and mesh with martinis. They're moister than muffins, meatier than mollusks, and make memorable meals at morning, midday, and midnight. Mainly in the microwave. But mind you, they're mobile. More monotonous M words, you moan? Maybe you make me to be a major menace. No matter. I'm in the mood for making meatballs. First, the meatballs. I'm starting with about 2 pounds of ground chuck. You can also use ground sirloin if you want to cut down on the fat a little bit, but of course fat adds great flavor. And to this I'm going to add a half a cup of breadcrumbs, a quarter of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, a few cloves of minced garlic, 1 egg, and a little seasoning, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. This cinnamon adds just a really interesting touch to it. Then you're just going to want to roll up your sleeves and dive in with your hands. We mix the mixture first, of course. You don't want to over mix it because that'll make the meat a little bit tough. So just kind of gently mix it until everything is combined nicely. And now you just start therapy. You start rolling little 1-inch meatballs. And you just keep rolling. Last one. And there is more than 60 there, which is great. If you're going to make meatballs, make a ton of meatballs. You can always freeze them. A little hand washing. And now for the sauce that the meatballs are going to cook in. This is such an interesting sauce. It's just very different. So I'm going to start with a large skillet and about 12 ounces of orange marmalade. We want to let that marmalade melt. Number 2, 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. And there's only 4 ingredients in this fascinating sauce. I'm going to add a half a cup of raisins. Those are going to plump up and add great flavor. And then, with all that sweet and tart, I want to add a little heat. So about a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, or maybe a tad more if you like more of a kick. So I'm going to put it on low and just melt that all together. Now we add the meatballs. Gently stir them so they can be coated in that sauce. Okay, I'm going to turn it down to simmer. We're going to let that cook for about half an hour. uncovered. And if you need to add a little more liquid, just throw a little bit of water in there. But the fat from the meat should provide plenty of moisture. So, see you in a half an hour. There are two ways that I like to serve miniature marmalade meatballs. One is simply with a toothpick. What a great marriage of flavors. The tart orange marmalade, and I get the red pepper and the Parmesan cheese. The raisins add a nice little sweetness. It's kind of like a sweet and sour meatball. The other way I love to serve them is as a meatball sandwich, but you use a flaky croissant as the roll. And you know what I'm going to say right now, don't you? Mmm.